is Sims, and we are back with more Hakuoki Kyoto wins. And what I said I might do in the last part was go back through Saito's route and just choose all of the things that we're supposed to choose, like for the right answers to get the good path, because we're missing a CG. We're missing like 2, but it's the same CG. It's just 2 different versions of it. So we're missing that. And, you know, we didn't, like, when we went through, obviously, his path, we just went through the game and chose whatever we wanted to choose. We didn't choose the exact right answers. So what I want to do is I want to go through the game on his, with the high romance, obviously, go through so we can find that hidden CG, and so we can see, like, the things that we should have chosen. And we might get slightly different scenes. We might not. We might be skipping through a lot because maybe I chose a lot. I obviously chose enough of the right answers. Actually, we don't want to go. We want to go chapter 1. So we want to start from here, and we're going to choose... We definitely want high romance. Yes! Not that it matters, because we could chose low and then just done everything. So this is obviously going to be a huge part of just skipping... I'm hoping it'll only do, I think it'll only be like one part because we're not going to be reading a ton because we've read through a lot of it. I just want to get that missing CG, and I just want to see some of the little things that maybe we didn't see. It's really about getting the CG is really what it is. Oh, why do I keep hitting the wrong button? You know what it is? Because 7 Scarlet, you hit the right fucking button, not the square, and it's just, it messes me up because every time I put this in, I'm like hitting the wrong buttons or whatever. I think we did a lot of the right answers with him, because some of them are easy, like go to Fushimi. Like, wait, where's Saito? That's where we're going. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so we were supposed to attempt to explain our situation. I don't know what, I'm not sure which ones I did versus which ones, like, where we should go to, like, because, like, maybe I did everything right in chapter 1. I think the first couple of ones, I got a couple of them right. You know what I'm saying? So far, because I know that I did talk to someone, and that, because that's where we went out and we ran into these 2, and I was like, yes! Our top 2 boyfriendos in the first part. We were supposed to say, I just can't get myself to do it. Okay. I can't just draw my sword on someone if there's even a small chance I could hurt them. Oh, look at it. The last one, we got a point with Ikeda, but, like, I understand where you're coming from, but if you prove your worth to me, it will help you. Yeah, yeah, right, later. Yeah, you're still not gonna, nothing. It's gonna be barely a hand touch and a smirk. Like, you're the hardest fucking person in romance. Anyway, if you can prove you're not to be a hindrance, we'll try and take you out, which will help your search. If you're so concerned for my safety, then use your scabbard at the back of your blade. Which we did. I looked down at my sword. I think he said that already, but even with the scabbard at the back of the blade, a misplaced strike could break bones. However, this was the opportunity I waited for. I didn't want to miss this chance. Okay. This one doesn't change the... So we already got that one, I mean, obviously. So there's obviously something we made a choice on. Somewhere where we didn't end up where he was to get that CG. Because I feel like even if we were in Okida's path, right? And we would do the same thing there. We would go talk to someone. We would have chosen the option that I actually chose originally because we got points for him. We'd still have gotten that CG for Saito. You know what I mean? Because we still went there. So we are supposed to quietly return to my room. Understood. Although I was able to finally see Hijikata, I didn't want to walk around and cause trouble. So, just as Hijikata ordered, I decided to return to my room. Interesting. Following orders. Blindly following orders like Hajime would. I don't know why that gives us points with him. But maybe it's because it doesn't give us points with other people, because I can't remember who we got points with and where we got points. Yeah, so that was like... most of the... I mean, we've really only... We've already done that because we wanted to be with him. You're still my favorite! We've only played 2 routes, but... I mean, although he's really... okay. we're not going down Ryoma's route, but we're supposed to actually say no to get down his path. He's so charming and he dies. I can't imagine that he dies if we go down his path, because that would just kind of suck, right? Like, well, that was... see, maybe our love will save him. I'm just so curious about that. Because nothing else changes, right? Like, we don't know when we went down Heisuke's route. Like, we didn't find out that, oh, God, I was like, wait a minute, I missed a choice. No, I did it. I wasn't paying attention. I didn't realize. Okay. We're supposed to remain in the compound. Okay. This is probably where we get the other CG, because we're probably going to talk to Saito. After contemplating, I decided to stay in. I couldn't convince myself that I wouldn't be a burden to them during dangerous situations. Grr. Still, it was disheartening to think about. Huh, another dull day spent inside. Throughout the past 6 months, I was allowed to finally search for my father on the rounds, and I felt like part of the house by contributing. Even though sometimes I was occupied with cleaning or cooking, it seemed like I was serving my part to the Shinsengumi in a meaningful way. I spent most of my time with the captains, but there were many opportunities to chat with the warriors and come to know them as real people. Maybe they were starting to think of me as a warrior in training rather than Hijikata's page. These worrying thoughts made me so anxious I was turning numb. The idea that I had become so dependent on the Shinsengumi at this moment. What should I do today? I was resigned to the consequences of my decision, something that felt like I was wasting away the tender moments of my life in these headquarters. I was, in short, with nothing to do. All right. I decided to enter the inner courtyard where maybe I could feel a pleasant breeze tingle my face in the shade. The quaintness may calm me down. Damn it. Alas, no winds blew through the courtyard today, no reprieve from the harsh sun bearing down upon this dry emptiness. I had a feeling it was going to be a bad day. Shade was the best I could hope for, it seemed. I sighed, sitting in whatever shade I could find. Something occurred to me as the sun roasted Kyoto. All right, my father's been here, hasn't he? They'd mentioned it, but they hadn't told me why. Was he tending to the injured, or perhaps educating the Shinsengumi on how to avoid illness? Maybe he'd intended to stay here long term. My father never mentioned to have been with the Shinsengumi. He visited only a few times, or so I've been told. If he'd really been their doctor, then he would have visited far more often, which left me with the question, why? It was extremely clear to me that the Shinsengumi had plenty of secrets, but I grew suspicious that these secrets deeply implicated my father as well. No, that can't be right, can it? I shook my head again, trying my best to dispel the dark thoughts taking shape. What can't be right? Ah, Sonnen. Ah, interesting. So it occurs to me, obviously, like as I'm reading this, that, like, we're reading through all this and we're doing it. We're going to end up making all these choices at some point in other people's routes. There's really almost no point in doing this aside from getting that missing CG. Like, just for completion, we would have eventually gotten it. You know what I'm saying? Like, playing other routes. So but it's just kind of like, I'm like, well, we might as well do this. Like, I consider that, like, maybe we don't. I was tempted to just be like, you know what? No, let's not do this. Let's not record that. Let's not do this one-up thing because we're gonna read these things in other people's paths. But then all the choices that we made, even if I don't save right now, the game registers that I made that choice, so we'll miss them. So we would miss all this content because I won't remember that. Wait, we didn't actually read that. You know, when we get to a certain point, because like, okay, so maybe we don't make the choice to remain in the compound until we get to Sonnen's route, right? Because like we're talking to him, so obviously like we're interacting with him. It would make sense that in chapter 2 at this choice we remain in the compound so that we have this interaction, right? But what if we don't play his toward the end and I forget? I'm gonna skip that. We're gonna skip past and we're gonna miss all this content because I already started this part and I already started playing, and even if I leave the game, because I was literally like, you know what, let's not do this. You know what, let's just wait until we'll get the CG eventually in other people's routes, but it's a little late for that because then we'll miss this. So we're stuck in it now. Spacey made a bad decision, but it's okay. It's fine. Like, anyway. But we would have seen this content when we go down Probably Sanon's path, right? Like, in Sanon's path, we'd see this because we'd have this interaction with him. So it would have been better to do it then as opposed to now. But, I mean, too late? Oops. Anyway. I spun around to find that Sanan had walked behind me, utterly undetected and unannounced. Oh, Sanan, is it all right for you to be walking around? Please, I'm no bedridden invalid. There's nothing wrong with me. There was a hint of coldness to his words. I almost want to go down his path like next just because, like, he's kind of an asshole, and I just want to find the redeemingness in Glass's asshole. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know they're always good, but you never know. It could be terrible. Although, my left hand is something of an invalid. Oh, he hasn't become a fury yet. I couldn't bear to look at the sad, twisted smile he gave me. His arm hadn't healed, and it seemed certain now that it never would. The rest of the captains seemed sure that he would never be able to use his arm as he'd done before. What are you doing? Are you allowed out of your room? You haven't been given the run of our headquarters, I'm sure. Yes, I know. I'm sorry. They usually let me walk around as I pleased, so as long as I didn't go into anyone's room. But I knew that technically I was confined to my room. Any freedom given to me was simply a courtesy. In other words, Sanan was right. If he decided to chastise me for being in the courtyard, I had no reasonable response. There were some things I wanted to think about. I hoped the courtyard would be breezy. The moment the words were out of my mouth, I realized they sounded far more like childish excuses than a valid explanation. When you sneak about without permission, it makes it seem as if you have something to hide. I'm sorry. Still, I was beginning to grow accustomed to the subtle cruelty that seemed to accompany each word from Sanan's mouth. All right, I'm going back to my room then. I turned and began to walk away. Sanan's unpleasantness had started after he was wounded during his trip to Osaka. He spent most of his time locked in his room now, and he was quick to lash out on others in response. I knew the loss of his arm hurt him, more than I could understand, but I wished he could get back to being the warm, kind man he was originally. I turned around to see him still standing there. It's really hot out today. You should try and stay out of the sun. Please, take care of yourself. I gave him a nervous little laugh, and he responded with a chuckle of his own. His smile didn't look forced. Points for us. Thank you, and take care of yourself as well. Okay. The Sanan I'd first met was still there. My spirits lifted. I ran back to my room. So it's interesting that in Saito's path, it tells us to have that conversation with Sanan. It's interesting to me. Anyway. Oh, it was later that evening that the compound exploded with activity. Oh my god, but I was walking down the hall when I heard footsteps and turned to see Nagakura coming toward me. Nagakura? What's that for? Oh, well, that was me. What's that for? I was like, why is he asking me that? Spacey gotta learn to read names. He glanced down almost absently at his hands, holding a candle and an exceptionally long needle. One of the Choshu guys we picked up isn't talking. Hijikata's gonna talk to him personally, but he said he didn't have the right, tools and sent me to get these. I don't understand. Look, kid, ignorance is bliss, alright? Don't think about it too much. He gave another bark of laughter, turned his back on me, and walked off. As the sun began to set, the activity in the compound reached a fever pitch. It was so busy that I couldn't even help with making dinner. The commotion was overwhelming. Ice skate! He shot past my door, then wheeled back around. What happened? All the men are running around. Any word from that Choshu prisoner? Yeah, that guy finally broke. It looks like they're having a meeting right now. We're getting ready for a raid. Oh. Heisuke went on to explain that the Shinsengumi would be splitting into two groups and searching locations at opposite ends of the city. Kondo would take 10 men to the Ikeda Inn, and Hijikata would take 24 to the, Shikoku Inn. Shikoku Inn. Shikoku. That's almost as fun as Fushimi. I may have said that before, I don't know. I heard they might be at Shikoku. Gotta say, I'm kinda pissed that the chief sent me to the Ikeda. They'd send more men with Hijikata because they thought he'd be seeing action. Kondo and his men were to make sure they covered all their bases. And yet, the Ikeda is where all the shit's going down. You mean there aren't even 40 men ready? Yeah, it kinda sucks because there's so many men who get sick when we need them most. I'd known that the heat in close quarters made some men sick, but I hadn't known it was so many. Heisuke sighed. We sent word to the Aizu and the Judiciary Commissioner, but it looks like they don't care. Sounds like you've got your work cut out for you. Unfortunately, there wasn't much I could offer him apart from sympathy. I had a feeling it was going to be a difficult night. After all the men capable of fighting had left for their respective assignments, Sanan called for me. I'm kind of mad that I did this. I'm so mad that I did this. Because, like, I feel like we would have gotten a lot more to read in Sanan's path when we go down his path, because we would have had to choose these things. But now we're doing this, and I just feel like, oh my god, I made a mistake by doing this. But it's too late, like I said, we can't stop, because then all the things that we've read, I'll forget, and it'll skip past it, because it'll count as red text, and I don't want anybody to miss anything, and I'm gonna forget. So anyway, I'm sure it was only out of courtesy, but the chief had asked me to protect the compound. Sanan's passive-aggressive attitude reared its head. It's mostly empty, of course, but someone may try to attack us for that very reason. I must ask you to stay where I can see you. I may need to give you orders should the worst occur. Okay. I hesitated a moment, then spoke. So this is interesting. We don't go to the Ikeda Inn at all, then. Does that mean you'll protect me? I wasn't sure why, but he laughed at that. Well, I should hope I'll be more use than the men who've been confined to their beds, at least. Was I supposed to be happy? His smile was so sad. I wasn't sure what to say. It seemed to hurt him most when the other men were out fighting and all he could do was wait. The silence between us stretched out until the door to our room suddenly opened without a sound. Have we not met Yamazaki at this point? Colonel Sanan, we've confirmed that the Choshu are meeting at the Ikeda. The Ikeda Inn? Oh dear, that's less than desirable. The Shinsengumi has never been good with chance. His tone was light, but his face was serious, and with good reason. They'd been certain Shikoku was the right location, and had sent only half as many men to the Ikeda. Yamazaki, can you do me a favor? The man whom we called Yamazaki nodded curtly. He's the Shinsengumi officer and spy, as well as a member of the Watch. Despite not living in the Yagi residence, he's aware of my situation. First, go tell Hijikata that the enemy is meeting at Ikeda. He should still be on his way to Shikoku. And I'm sorry to trouble you with it, but I need you to take this child with you as well. Wait! This child. Hey! I'm not a child, okay? I'm I don't know how old I am, but I'm hoping I'm not a child, though. That's creepy. Like, treating me like I'm 12, bitch. I don't want to know how old she is. I really don't, because it'll disturb me. They'll be like, they're like fucking 20-something, and she's like 15. Creepy! I know, back in the day, okay? But still. Let's pretend we're like closer to 18. I don't know. I don't know. All the games are always like, she's like 15 or 16, and you're like, I'm a high school girl. I want to be an adult woman for once, for fuck's sake. Like, I'm too old to be a teenager. It's exhausting. That's what it is. Spacey just doesn't want to be a teenager anymore, because, like, shit, did that once, I don't want to do it again. Anyway, Yamazaki seemed just as surprised. I paused before thinking about what's next. We're supposed to ask, why me? Why me? I feel like if I were to go with him, I would only be a burden. Why did he choose me? I can't stand the thought of getting in someone's way and being the reason something bad happens. You may be a burden, but at the end of it, you could also save someone's life if you're lucky. Sana responded while giving me a cold gaze. There may be Ronin out to intercept you. And besides, there's a chance the Chosu has reinforcements. If your message were to be intercepted, then you'll be sure not to reach Hijikata in time. Sana finished with a soft smile I hadn't seen him use for weeks. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Yes, if the worst should happen... Oh, that's Yamazaki. Yes, if the worst should happen, I can hold off any Choshu Ronin and give her the message. What? It sounded as if they were suggesting if things went badly, Yamazaki would sacrifice himself. Yes, of course. I doubt it will come to that. We're short of men right now, which means there's more I need you to do. You'll need to notify the Aizu and Judiciary Commissioner as well. That would have Yamazaki running all across Kyoto. Suppose it really drove home just how thin the Shinsengumi was stretched. And there's no other person that could do this job? What about Shimada? Shimada is another Shinsengumi spy who's trusted enough with knowledge of my situation. Sanan shook his head. The Shinsengumi need every single member they can get, and Shimada was with the Shikoku team, which means that apart from Yamazaki, I was the only one that could possibly serve as a messenger at the moment. I'm gonna guess because Saito went with the other, and if we stay, then it leads us down the path of like this, going where he is gonna be, because he was not at the Ikeda Inn, right? Like, we know that's where Heisuke and where Okita are, so. Just look at me. You're Yukimura, right? I heard you know a little about how to protect yourself. Yes, I do. Unfortunately, I can't guarantee your safety. If you can manage, you're welcome to join me. If I tried to run away while we were out, I had no doubt that he would kill me without hesitation. This mission is his priority, not my life. Even so, I'll go. I can take care of myself. You don't need to worry about me. Sanan gave me a small smile. I knew he wanted to join the battle more than anyone, but we both knew that wasn't possible. The least I could do was carry out my mission. Very well. I accept your request, Colonel. Request! I accept your request, Colonel. He bowed then as he stepped out of the room and turned to me. Run with all your might. I took off after him, my legs working as hard as they could. I'm not a runner, though. Like, I mean, no. Oh, never mind. Into the dark street we ran. I discovered quickly that half a year indoors did little for my physique, and I was out of shape. After only a few blocks, I was gasping for breath. There's a lot of difference in here if you go down the right path, I'm just saying. Yamazaki, who was running ahead of me, suddenly stopped and looked sharply behind us. No matter what happens, follow the street. Don't look back. Don't tell me someone's behind us. You don't need to know that. Seems like Yamazaki's hunch was right. What should I tell Yamazaki? You should go. I'll stay behind. Yamazaki, please, you should go. That's so nice. We're gonna, like, don't be a fool. What could you possibly do by staying behind? If I distract the enemies, then you could go in the meantime. If we'll need a lure, then it's going to be me. Run for it. Yamazaki wasn't looking to take no for an answer, so I nodded in good faith. I looked to what lay ahead for me. As I stepped into the next intersection, I saw a flash of metal from the corner of my eye. I have a feeling this is the chapter where we might get that CG, I don't know, because there's a couple more choices, and then there is a choice specifically about Saito, which, I mean, we're trying to get his good, obviously we've already gotten his good ending, but I mean, but so much of this would have been shit we would have gotten in other paths, and I'm just so mad at myself for starting and doing this like one-off, but I should have thought about it better. But, you know, I didn't, because I don't think, but. As I stepped into the next intersection, okay, we already read that, it's okay. Keep going, I'll catch up in a moment. Just keep running until you see a white uniform. Right. I kept running. I pretended I didn't hear the sounds of swords ringing against one another behind me and ran. My knees felt weak and my legs shook, but I kept going. They'd have to collapse or tear themselves to pieces before I'd stop. Go, girl. Even so, I felt so slow. I wanted to cry out, to scream at my body to go faster. Faster! A bright light suddenly cut through the darkness, and I placed my hand over my eyes from the glare. My heart stopped. Was it Shoshu soldiers? Choshu soldiers? That's really Shoshu soldiers. Oh my god. I froze. What the hell are you doing? I very nearly began to cry with relief. Hijikata was not dressed in the usual light blue jacket, but rather a bright white uniform to be seen in dimly lit places. Instead, I simply collapsed as Harada reached out to grab me. Hey, you alright? If you left the headquarters without permission, Hijikata's gonna kill you. I grabbed hold of Harada's hand and pulled my body to its feet. I wanted to tell him I had permission to leave and explain it was alright for me to be there, but I was so winded that I could barely speak. Here's the message, just hand it over. Besides, I wasn't sent to Hijikata to make excuses. I took as deep of a breath as my shuttered lungs could manage before speaking. They're meeting at Ikeda. Suddenly, Hijikata's expression changed. Then they are at Ikeda. I nodded rapidly. Ah, there's my boyfriend! I came for you. You're so pretty. Anyway, are you sure? Hijikata gestured toward me. Sonnen lost his arm, not his brain. That's actually pretty funny. Kid didn't run away. The colonel sent us this message. And be like, thumbs up, like, nodding and... What? I'm gonna die! Oh my god! Ah! I'm too out of shape for this. I'm pretty impressed you found us. I didn't think you knew Kyoto that well, kid. Yeah, Yamazaki! I finally got some of my breath back, and I did my best to tell them what had happened. That's basically... cling! That'd basically be my explaining, just gasping and grunting. They'd be like, we understand, it's good, like, we got this. What about the Aizu and the Commissioner's men? Are they on their way to the Ikeda? I just shook my head. Hijikata thought for a moment, then spoke. Saito, Harada, you take our men to Ikeda. I need to go deal with something. Harada and Saito nodded curtly, then turned to their business. Kyoto will be dangerous for you alone. Stay with us or go with Hijikata. I still lacked the breath to respond properly, so I simply nodded. We both knew they couldn't leave me here, but whom should I accompany? So, obviously in Hijikata's path, that's what we're doing. But we're heading to the Ikeda Inn because that would be... And here's the thing. So I'm sure if we want points with Sanin, we'd kind of go down this. We'd also probably for Yamazaki, because this is where we kind of first meet him, I think. This is also going to be for Harada and Saito. You know, and Hijikata, we get to this point, and then we split up. So it's, like, kind of cool, because it's like, so now you're here, and you've got kind of, but now this choice determines who you've got, like, fucking A. There's a lot of in-depthness to this game for 12 guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of, like, branching narratives, and, like, I'm still impressed by this, but we're going to the Ikeda. As fast as we could manage, we ran through the silent streets of Kyoto toward the Ikeda Inn. We were nearly a block away when we heard the first cries of men engaged in battle. None of the Shinsengumi remained outside, but I heard a voice ring out from inside that sounded much like Kondo's. I shall take the front. Guess I'll take the back then. They gave each other a curt nod, then turned to lead their men. I couldn't stand there by myself. I decided to. Again, now this is the split. I think when we go down the last path, we should just do what we did with Lupin in Code Realize and read the whole thing. And I'm still thinking that Hijikata should be the last one, because I'm pretty sure he's, like, the canon one. I'm pretty sure that's the, like... I mean, like, seriously, when you start playing, like, and you see the intro, like, remember the intro? It's like, he's, like, right there first. Everybody else shares a screen with other people, and he's, like, all on his own. He's like, I'm the magical all on my own. It's, like, all about him. Like, I'm pretty fucking sure he is, like, that's the one that you should go down. Like, that's the one that they're pointing you down. Plus, based on other reviews, his path it sounds like his path is a little bit longer, and has at least more backstory to it, like, more to it. So, I feel like they're doing that purposely, like, that's what they want you to do last. We could do him sooner, but I'm thinking that we should probably do his last, because he's, like, the big gun. You know what I'm saying? So, it is really, like, we'll see what everybody's kind of suggestions are in part 4, which has not posted yet. I'm so ahead. And that's why I decided to do this one-off, because I'm like, I need to record a little bit of it, but oh my god, guys, I'm actually, like, good with where I need to be for taking, like, a break. But again, I'll be back by the time you see this, so, like, whatever. But it's kind of, like, rough, because I'm like, shit, like, you guys are going to leave suggestions for people, like, paths to go down, and I'm like, I need to record this, and I have to wait days before you see that part. So, again, I explained this in High Skate's route. So if the next path we do after this is just not someone that anybody, like, wanted to see, too bad, so sad, sorry, it's not, I mean, that sounds douchey. But you know what I mean, it's because I had no choice, and I'm still trying to figure out whose path I want to go down. Like, do I want to just do someone that's, again, like, High Skate's path was actually really good. I was pleased with it. Like, it was good. But do I want to just do someone that I'm not as drawn to, or, like, pick one of the new guys that we barely know? Because we saw them, like, once and never seen or heard from again? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I still haven't quite figured out what I want to do. Or do I want to do one of the normal main guys? Like, there's, like, normally, like, there's, like, what, the 8 of them. Because then I feel like Chikage is, like, the bad guy. And, like, at some point we got to go down that route. But, and then there's, like, the 3 random, like, we just added these guys sort of here. You know? I don't know. Anyway, follow Saito. That's what we're supposed to do. Sorry. It's going to be a long-ass part, but... I watched Harada and his men as they ran around towards the back of the inn and turned towards Saito. Can I go with you, Saito? He glanced back at me, then quickly turned away. Stay behind me. If I must be impeded by your presence, then watch out for my sword. Hey! 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 You're gonna fall in love with me, goddammit! Don't you remember our love? We haven't gotten there yet. You barely left. He's like, you're a pain in my ass. Yeah, but you're gonna fall in love with me. Maybe not really. In your own way, because you're very difficult. He was even colder than usual, and I was suddenly aware of just how much of a burden I was. It's really funny that his is one of the easiest paths to get. From when I was trying to find a guide to say, like, you know, is there a route order? And everyone, you know, and everyone's suggestion was like, just try to lead toward whoever, you know, appeals to you the most, because, like, there really isn't an order. And everyone was like, I was trying to go down this path, and, like, so many people got on Saito's path. It was, like, the easiest one to get to, and he is the one who was like, ugh. I mean, Okida's kind of a douche to you, but, like, in a fun kind of way. Like, he jokes around with you, and he's like, yeah, whatever, you suck, and you're like, do I really? I'm just confused. Maybe it's just how I read his lines. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think I just read him that way, and, like, maybe he's really like, ha, 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 I'll fucking kill you. I mean, I don't know. Like, but I just feel like he's such a cold fish. Because, like, look at it. Like, at least Heisuke, right, was like, you're mine. You're going to be mine. And, like, there was no, like, kissing or anything. There was no kiss. Nothing. But he made the declaration, like, you're mine. Stay by my side. Like, so it's like, we know how he feels. Like, there was that. With him, it was literally like, you sure you want to come with us? And it's like, yeah. And he's like, he just kind of nods. Nods. Hand on your... Nods. And that's it. That's the most romance we had with... Jesus! And low romance with him was 80%. Low romance with Heisuke was 50%. So, I mean, either the game just kinda was like, it messed up there, or it's really fucking hard to get high romance with him. So how does everyone get down his path? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's weirding me out. He's like, I feel like he's like the hardest, but somehow, I don't, anyway. I'm sorry. Perhaps it would be best for me to stay put and be quiet, so as to cause no one any further trouble. I don't care to see you die, but it's not my job to protect you. He sounded annoyed, but didn't seem like it was with me. He looked toward the inn, his eyes narrowed. Ah, you're so pretty. We're going in. Men, follow me. Then we charged into the Ikeda Inn. Okay. Oh wow, the warm, coppery stench of blood hit me like a fist to the stomach. Arrgh! Oh, he's a pirate running. With a single blow, Saito dispatched a man near the door, his pace barely slowing. And she's sitting there watching like, damn. I mean, I know he's slicing and dicing people, and it's gross, because it's like, now there's guts everywhere, but like, that man's fine with a sword. I want to watch the anime so bad, but I can't. You know I can't. I can't, because it'll spoil the game. Like, I did not watch Code Realize until I was done playing the game. I've watched Diabolic Lovers because, you know, it's going to be like fucking year before I can read Japanese, so fuck it, it's not going to matter. You're here! Excellent! We could use the backup. I can't watch this until after I'm done playing, so. Kondo gave a grin as he spoke, then turned to split a Ronin on his sword. With his free hand, he gestured at us to stay back. I'm fine! You should head upstairs and see to Soji. Hey, Saito! Looks like you're out of luck, pal. Don't think I left any for you. I'll let it slide this time. Aw, Nagakura came out from the back and he hung his exposed sword out and laughed in his usual way. Maybe he had one intense battle. There was blood all over his uniform and it seemed like his left hand was dripping with blood too. You're hurt! Did this come as a surprise? This is a sword fight. You think this is bad? You should see Heisuke. He's like totally cool with it. That's not funny. Nagakura grinned at me as Saito began barking orders to his men. Don't let any of them escape. We needn't hold back. Kill any who resist. Saito let our injured evacuate. His voice's steel and the grimace on his face betrayed his emotions. Oh. She's like, oh. That's when I finally understood. I want to fuck this man. Oh, God. Spacey shouldn't play these games. Anyway, that's when I finally understood. It wasn't anger I saw in him. It was concern. He was worried for the men of the Shinsengumi. The frustration of not being able to fight with them, of not being at their side. That was why he'd been in such a hurry. Can you treat the injured? You are the daughter of a doctor, after all. Yes, I can. The words were out of my mouth before I realized they probably needed something of a disclaimer. Well, I mean, I can do first aid. That's plenty. Thanks. Oh, to me it seemed only natural to care about one's friends, but I'd always seen Saito as distant. Oh, this is beautiful. Like, we're like, oh, she's like, oh, this was so definitely the right thing to do. He hadn't struck me as the sort to care for anyone, so I'd never even guessed that could have been the source of his frustration. The truth was he wasn't nearly as cold as I thought. As I watched him dive into battle, his sword a light of hope for his comrades in arms, I wondered how I could have ever thought so. So that's totally like the moment where she's like, I just fell in love with that man. I just fell a little bit more in love with him. Guys. We were literally in chapter 2 because we had so much other backstory and like changes and different things for his. And we're like halfway through this, so yeah. If we get the we're supposed to say I want to come. My mind was made up. I nodded to Harada. I want to help. I'd like to participate and help in some way, which is weird because all right, thanks for letting me know. When the time comes, I'll be sure to bring you back up. I'll be sure to back you up so you could join us. Thanks, bro. Oh, that was okay. That was slightly different. We've only gotten one little butterfly point with him. We already have high romance, so it doesn't fucking matter, but... And again, we're not going through the ending. I just want to get to that CG at least. But I think we'll skip through and we'll do all the choices. So I'm thinking we should be able to... Hi, this is the point where we get to this and let's see, what are we gonna do? Trust him? Duh. We've already done all this because we knew. We knew this led to being with him, right? So some of the choices were easy, but the other one is because we had to, in order to be able to go with him, we had to know to stay in our room versus ask to do something, and then and then it trickled down. Like, we never would have known. Like, there are some points where it gives you the setup. We ended up just at Ikeda Inn, like the original game, obviously, because of the choice we made. So we are supposed to. Oh, I think I understand. Yes! Spacey made the right choice. Uh-huh. So we still haven't gotten after the 3rd chapter. Well, I mean, I'm not really sure where it is. It was kind of in the middle of our CGs, so I would have yeah, maybe it's in the 3rd, 4th chapter. I don't know. Oh, I see where we get another point with him. In Heisuke's route, we do we chased after them. Remember when they leave? And with Heisuke, we're like, oh, I'm going to miss you, or whatever the hell we said. And I was like, what's the other option? I felt betrayed. That's what we're supposed to say. And I was like, because you're talking to both of them, right? Yeah, I feel betrayed is to get points for Saito. That's fucking hilarious. I feel betrayed! Gives him butterfly points. Like, oh, it's so beautiful. I feel betrayed by me. It's fucking weird. Anyway, perhaps it'd be best to just return to my room. I didn't want to get in trouble for wandering around, but most of all, I didn't want to find myself in anyone's way. Even though I was worried about Sanan, maybe it's for the best for me to stay out of the way. Just as the sun dipped below the horizon, the compound exploded with activity. My worry increased tenfold. Did something happen? I waited for a few moments for the activity to settle down, but it did no such thing. Something was wrong. I could feel it. I struggled against it for as long as I could, but eventually my curiosity got the better of me. There must be someone in the common room. I decided to ask someone what had happened. To think that Sanan would have done this to himself. God damn it. The hell were you guys doing? I told you countless of times to watch out for Sanan. Was some part of that difficult to understand? Come on, man. Who would have thought he'd drink that stuff? Oh, so we missed. Uh-huh. So we missed the option of going out and seeing him turn into a fury. Interesting. Interesting. But I suppose if we had done that, if we had gone, we would have gotten the points with him, but you're trying not to get points with anybody else but Saito. Yeah, but anyway. I mean, Sonnen was in charge of watching that stuff anyway, so it's not like we would have known. If it were hidden in a small bottle, we would have no way of knowing it was on him. I mean, I suppose there's a chance that the treatment would heal his harm, but it didn't work, did it? Everybody who took it went crazy. Then Sonnen would be... I wondered what they meant by treatment. Occasionally I'd heard the captains referring to something similar from time to time. So, did Sonnen drink that thing? I believe Colonel Sonnen was working on improving it. He hoped to repair his arm before it had deteriorated too far. Perhaps he felt he was finished, or at least close enough. Whatever the case, when he realized his failure, he ignored Soji's counsel and attempted suicide. Suicide? The words were past my lips before I'd even thought them. As one, all eyes in the room turned toward me. Tap dances out of there. Toot, toot, toot. Just what the hell are you doing here? Oh, he's so angry and aggressive. You know he's going to be such a fucking cupcake. You know it. You know he's going to be like just the softest, most wonderful fucking marshmallow. Just you knew. Such a marshmallow. But he's so mean. You want to be like, you're mean. I don't want to go down your path. But I so do because you're so mean to me. Which means you're going to be like so sweet underneath. Once we break through that crunchy exterior. Anyway, we're not on your path, so shush. The longer his cold gaze kept me pinned, the tighter my throat became, until I could barely breathe, let alone speak. I felt a strange combination of anxiety, suspicion, and animosity that I'd felt before on the night I arrived in the headquarters of the Shinsengumi. Like, why do you hate me so much? Because you love me. Now, as then, I knew the meaning of that gaze. Toshi, I think it's time you told her what's going on. She's Koto's daughter, after all. She has a right to know. I felt my eyes go wide at the mention of my father's name. Why would my father's name come up here? Don't tell me he had something to do with this. So many hidden scenes. Hijikata's gaze slid toward Kondo, sporting an unpleasant grimace. After a moment, however, he gave a long, exasperated sigh and turned back to me. I'm going to make this clear. The Shinsengumi doesn't need you. There's a chance you'll help us find Koto, but even without your help, we'll find him eventually. A minor setback at worst. You do anything weird, we'll kill you. I'm about to tell you what's going on here, but keep in mind that your life is in our hands. Wow, he is so fucking nice. The intensity of Hijikata's statement felt like a sharp dagger pointed at my throat. I'm the daughter. The Shinsengumi only let me stay with them in the slight chance I'd come in handy when the time arose to search for my father. Although it wasn't their primary duty, the Shinsengumi had the watch for all manhunts. There's nothing left to tie me here, apart from my memories of the last year. Are you going to kill me? My words were flushed with worry, and Hijikata thinned his eyes like he was speaking to a servant. We aren't going to kill you yet, but don't think that means you're in the clear. Oh. I was glad, I suppose, that I wasn't going to be killed, but I was still far from happy. I'd been with the Shinsengumi for nearly a year, and my position with them hadn't changed. The truth cut deep. We never told you, but Koto was here because he was developing a treatment. You mean... I gulped audibly and I carefully formulated what I was going to say in my head before I said it aloud. The one that Sonnen took. When Kondo nodded, it was as if there was a great weight resting on him. It was first brought to us by one of the Shogun's men. We were told this concoction was obtained from a trade with Western merchants. Curiosity swelled inside of me, and my head felt light from the anticipation. Still, I knew that digging deep is dangerous. These thoughts swirled. It was a foreign drug, built with the ability to augment a man's healing and physical strength. Any who drank it would supposedly be strong enough to conquer a wild beast. Barring a truly fatal wound, any injuries from battle would heal almost immediately. Unless one were to be decapitated or be pierced in the heart, you could engage in combat forever. Does such a concoction really exist? I felt like I was hearing some sort of fairy tale. Of course, all this comes with a price. A price? The drink spurs men into madness, and they're unable to survive without drinking the blood of others. Koto took it upon himself to experiment on the Shinsengumi in an attempt to improve the drug. My father... Somewhere deep in my heart, I knew my father had some connection with all this. And knowing my father was involved with driving men mad, all I could do was wonder why. To perform experiments on the Shinsengumi... So that night in the alley, Saito nodded plainly. We keep the guys who've taken it in the Ananbu house. If we kept them at the Yagi house, suspicions would have been aroused. So as long as so yeah, so as long as they don't get any blood, they stay pretty calm. Saito spoke quietly and indifferently. It was as if what he talked about was a distant memory. Living with them for so long made me forget. There's still a line between myself and the Shinsengumi men that couldn't be crossed, and his coldness reminded me of this notion. You alright, Spacey? You don't look too well. I'm alright. Don't push yourself. I mean, of course you'd be sick after hearing this. He's so nice. Alright, I've told her enough. We need to think about Sonnen. Hell, well, yeah, but... I mean, look at him. He's practically dead. Well, this batch is new, so the effects could be different. It's not a sure thing yet that he'll go mad. Well, if that crap actually does what it's supposed to, then that cut isn't gonna kill him. Hijikata felt like he was restrained in saying this, as if he was trying to keep his hopes low. Kondo, can you keep an eye on him? Tonight's gonna tell if he lives or dies. Or goes crazy, which then he'll die because you'll kill him. Very well. Soji is with him, right? Kondo nodded deeply, then stood and walked towards the room. Don't let anyone near Sonnen's room, especially Ito's men. Yeah, I know. Shinpachi, go check on the... It's my Keiwa house. My Keiwa house. My Keiwa house. Yes. Just takes me a minute, because... Anyway. Got it. Got it, bro. As he passed, Nagakora's eyes met mine for an instant, and his gaze... In them I saw some hostility felt on the night I'd first arrived, and they were filled with doubt and suspicion toward me. Hey, I thought we were all friends here! I know it's still early in the game, but Jesus! They used to be nice to me! What the fuck happened? You know, I mean, I feel like we did better in the path that I chose for us when we went down Saito's route, because, like, they liked us. Now they're all suspicious. What the fuck, Saito? What are you doing? Saito, I want you in the inner courtyard. If Ito and his guys show up, keep them occupied. Understood. Eventually, Hijikata faced his gaze to me. I'm gonna go back to my room. I'll be in my room, making no noise and pretending I don't exist. Gonna Harry Potter out. Yukimura, I want you to stay with one of the captains. Okay. It seems as though his suggestion wasn't out of worry for my well-being, but rather that it wasn't a wise idea for me to be wandering around. I can't go back to my room? Stay out of the Nanbu house. They get kind of rowdy at night. All right. I bowed slightly, but even with their warnings, I would be limited. Where should I go? Oh god, we're supposed to go to the courtyard, I'm assuming, because that's where, yeah. Because that's where Saito is. Maybe this is where we get the thing. Winds chilled the courtyard. The candle flickered. The air was still, and the whole place was silent. It was hard to believe the chaos of the common room was only moments ago. Saito stood in a daze, gathering thoughts as he watched the stars shiver in the distance. Why don't you go inside? The night's very cold. I'm fine. I'm not cold. Like, I'm cold, but I'm going to be sweating to death tomorrow, so I'm just going to take it while it lasts. But Saito stared at me. His expression was blank, and he seemed to be calculating. But alas, he simply looked back to the sky. For those who live by the sword, their hands define life itself. To lose them, I suppose taking one's own life makes sense. I saw the white air of Saito's breath as he muttered to himself. I didn't notice how bad it was for him. I guess the Sonnen we knew was only a fragment of whom he truly was. Saito wasn't the best at expressing how he felt, but it was clear his words were tinged with pain. I could sense he was deeply remorseful for not being able to help to stop Sonnen. What's going to happen to him? Between us followed a period of silence, and I was mad at myself for asking such a question. There was no way for Saito to know the answer. Soon, though, he quietly responded, and it was no surprise to see him become disengaged. It can't become public knowledge that a colonel in the Shinsengumi has gone mad. Better that he dies. What? My voice cracked, but Saito scarcely blinked. Could you live with that, Saito? If you were to be given orders to assist with Sonnen's beheading... With my assistance, Sonnen can be sent to the next life without much suffering. If I'm called to do it, then I'll kill whom I must. Simple as that. A chill grazed my spine, but not from the night air. I couldn't believe it. Is this what it takes to be a Shinsengumi warrior? He could probably kill me at any moment if it were called upon him, and I realized just how expendable I was. I prefer not to kill my comrades if possible. It is difficult to imagine something more painful. The night I'd met Saito, I watched him kill a man whom he may have known without blinking. Or maybe that's how it looked to me. I thought him cold at the time, but I realize now how much pain he must have been in. See, he's such a fucking buttercup. He is. Even though he's cold on the outside. But see, that's why Hijikata's going to be the squishiest fucking marshmallow. Like, the squishiest. Because, like, you think Saito... I thought Saito was cold. Really? Because I was like, he's just, like, one of those quiet, like, broody types. Hijikata's, like, fucking angry and aggressive, and I'll fucking kill you. And it's like, oh, you're going to love us so fucking hard just because you're so angry. It's going to be great. He's got the glasses asshole attitude. Like, Sanan has the glasses, but Hijikata's got the asshole. So, you know he's going to be the best. There's no way it wouldn't be painful. Moving together with hopes of sharing a vision. Just then I sensed someone approaching us. Share? I gasped and turned around. Oh, that guy. Hey, common room's been pretty noisy. Something going on? I see you're still up. Well, how are people supposed to sleep with all this commotion going on? So what happened? I was trying to ask others, but everyone gave me the same half-assed answer. Kondo made sure to tell us to keep Ito and his gang from finding out what happened tonight. How are we supposed to play it off? Panicked, I looked at Saito. I can't tell you right now. Is that so? Despite me being a captain and pretty. You're a douchebag, but you're pretty. It's a shame. I want to route with some of the douchebags. Like, we're going to get Chikage. We're going to go down that route, you know what I mean? Like, choose the bad guy. I want, like, some of the assholes. Because some of the assholes are really fucking pretty. Like, what the deal? Like, the thing is, I also haven't fully grasped what's going on. If I were to tell you something that later turned out to be incorrect, it would cause an unnecessary confusion. I'm sure by tomorrow the chief and commander will call everyone to explain. I'll wait until then. I see. Miki shrugged at his answer and shuffled off without saying another word. Was that alright? Do you think Miki was satisfied with that? Well, he's not a dimwit. He's Ito's little brother, after all. I thought so. But then again, I don't see him as the type to just cause an unnecessary scene, either. You shouldn't let your guard down in front of him, but no need to be too cautious, either. You don't let your guard down, but you don't have to be totally cautious. But be cautious. But not totally cautious. But, like, don't let your guard down either. So, like, be cautious. But, like, chill. Oh! Be the right amount of cautious. Like, fuck, what's the right amount? I don't know, like 32%? I mean, okay, more like 78% cautious. Be 78% cautious. But, wait, but that's very 78.6. That's really oddly specific, Saito. Jesus. Anyway, Saito's reserved nature made it difficult for people to observe him, but he used this to his advantage and seemed to be astute when watching others. All we can do is pray that Sanan pulls through. You're right. Above us sang the wind of the gentle night, its song catching the ears of the star-filled sky. Okay. Wow. We're, like, almost at time. Like, so we might actually get, like, 2 parts out of going down his route. Because, like, I mean... Oh, wow, we're reading this. Thinking back to the night of the incident, I remember Sanan transformed into a being with white hair, eyes lusting for blood. But looking at his peaceful smile now made it hard to imagine such a night was real. If someone told me it was all a bad dream, I would have believed it. It wasn't a dream, though, and now Sanan spends his days hiding from the sunlight and from others. I've definitely tapped into the Shinsengumi's secrets. For just a moment, the sun lit on Sanan's hair. I don't know if it was... We had something very similar when we went the other... I don't know. I don't know if it was a trick of the light or simply my mind being foolish, but in that moment, his hair was a brilliant white. Is something the matter? You look as though you've seen a ghost, which I hardly feel is polite. Oh, no, nothing at all. We read this, though, and it's not skipping. That's the weirdest thing. He looked perfectly normal now, of course. Surely, I thought, I must have simply imagined it. Sonnen had become the same creature as the men I encountered on my first night in Kyoto. And here, right in front of me, he stood. The fear of the night cast a shadow over my heart. I'm wondering if it's the same, but instead of them linking it back to the same thing, you know what I mean? Like, because we chose a different option, but I wonder if it, like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I really wanted to get the other CG in this, and I really just was thinking this was only going to be one part, but maybe it'll end up being two. Because we're only halfway through, if you think about it. Because we're at the beginning of chapter 3, and we still have all of chapter 4, and then we're going to stop. We're not going to go through chapter 5, because, I mean, like, of course we're supposed to stay, because this is where Saito is. We weren't stupid the first time. Cry for backup, which is perfect, because that's what we were supposed to do. Got it. Supposed to do that. Great. Oh, and then he asks, and we're supposed to say yes. Because I was like, yes, please. And I was thinking about that. So, like, right, we do this. Okay. And we're worried about Ikeda, so we follow him. Okay. And that's true, because that was actually good for us to do, because you didn't realize, and I mean, obviously, that following him and then following Ikeda, and then Saito sneaks up behind you and is like, shh, and you're like, okay, and then he's like, we get points for him for that. So we go around. Perfect. We got that one already. He's like, I got points because I touched you. I don't know. Choo-choo. Do you want to, play is so the fucking right answer. I mean, I think I remember we chose that and we got points with him, and I was like, yay! But it still excites me that it's the right motherfucking answer. So obviously, okay, perfect. So we made a lot of good choices, honestly, because we're making a lot of the same choices. Do you want to build a snowman? So where is the missing CG? Maybe it's not in his path. But all the other ones, we've gotten the CGs when we've gone down. Okay, we only did high skates, right? But we got all of his. And we do get CGs with other people in random paths, but... Do you want to play? And he's like, what are we going to do? Wait. I love it. Still love that CG, guys. I still fucking love it. But we played together and everything. So, and then we'll do the same thing. We go to the guard and we see we felt betrayed. Maybe, okay, so when they leave, when Haisuke and Saito leave, and we, in Haisuke's route, we followed them, blah, blah, blah. We had whatever options, felt betrayed, and whatever the other option was. And that's where Haisuke took us aside and was like, okay, blah, blah, blah. And we talked to him for a few minutes. Maybe that's where maybe we end up talking to Saito alone, like we did with Haisuke. You know what I mean? As opposed to him being like, whatever, and walking off. So we do the same thing here. What worried me most were the guys leaving. And I didn't realize when I said that, like the guard, that it would be the guys leaving. Because otherwise, how could you do this to us? We've been together for so long. And now you're just going to abandon us? Please, don't say that. This is hard for us too, all right? The look he gave me nearly broke my heart, and in that moment I suddenly understood how he felt. Oh, he was suffering too, perhaps just as much as I was, and yet I'd said such horrible things. No, I'm sorry. See ya. Oh. And then he was gone, and I was left with my apology still forming on my lips. Haisuke, how could I have been so inconsiderate? I should have known that it was painful for him too. Because we worked together once, now we must always work together. You believe that no matter my ambitions, I should remain here, for no other reason than some sense of camaraderie? One must master their emotions or be mastered by them. To let emotion guide my judgment is the beginning of the end. But can you ignore your feelings so easily? Right? Because you love me, goddammit. You know you do. You come back to take care of me when I'm sick, which is so romantic and beautiful. God, I love him so much. Isn't it hard for you to leave your friends behind? No. If duty requires me to kill a friend, then I will. There can be no hesitation. And duty requires me to leave. We just don't know that. I don't think I could ever understand that. Duty is important to you, I know, but still, was duty the only function of a member of the Shinsengumi? Did they exist only to fulfill that duty at the exclusion of everything else? That seemed awfully, horribly sad. I want to speak, to tell Saito how I feel, but I knew that no matter what I said, it would simply slide off of him, unacknowledged and unwelcome. Saito, for his part, said nothing. We stood for a moment until he moved toward one of the many blossoming cherry trees covering the temple grounds. CG. Fucking beautiful! Fucking worth it! It was worth an hour skipping through shit. We got a couple more choices. This part's gonna be a little bit longer than normal, but how many of these blossoms have I seen since I came to Kyoto, I wonder? He's fucking beautiful. Cherry blossoms? It must have been my imagination, but I could have sworn that Saito's face, as he looked at the blossoms above him, was sad. As time passes, things change. The world, people's ideas, even the Shinsengumi. He reached out gently and let a single petal fall into his palm. For several moments, he simply looked at it. Oh my god, this is the best fucking CG. Are we changing too? He looked up. Are we changing too? Yes, yes we are. We're falling in love. Ah! Our eyes met. We have. Is that why you're leaving? Because we've changed? He didn't answer, only gazed quietly up at the cherry blossoms. His mind had been made up long ago. There was nothing I could say that would change it now. Oh! The slight smile on his face goes from the contemplative look to the slight smile. So vaguely changed, but it's still fucking amazing. Even so, it does not mean everything must change. I was surprised, not by his words, but by the small smile that appeared with them. As times change, and life changes with it, there's some things which do not change. I believe in those things that do not change. Things that don't change. Yes. And somehow that meant he should go with Ito? It didn't make any sense. What Saito believed in was something else. I didn't know what yet, but I could feel it. So long as he didn't change, so long as he was still the man who could look at the cherry blossoms and smile, then perhaps it was okay. Even if he was far away, perhaps our hearts could still feel the presence of the other. I'm so sad we missed this scene, guys. It was sad to think that he would no longer be nearby, but... Saito, could you give me that petal? Of course. What do you intend to do with it? Keep it forever as a memento! I won't do anything with it. I just want to keep it. A reminder of my time with him. I was thinking when I'm not even gonna lie, when he like sitting there and like a petal falls in his hand, I'm like, he's so gonna give that to us. He's so gonna fucking give it to us. Okay, we asked him for it, not the same thing, but still, I was like, treasure that petal, girl. That's odd. That's odd. Here you are, I suppose. But he's like, he swooned a little. You know we did. Thank you. I'll treasure it. Bye, my beautiful prince. I know we're going to be over, obviously, because, like, we're over already. But I just want to make sure we don't see anything. I don't think anything is different. I think everything else might be the same. Also, at this point, that's about the only thing that's going to be different. Because we have no reason to follow the guard when we're not in Heisuke or Saito's route. So, I don't think we really need to... Okay, so I'm just going to make sure. But I don't think anything is going to be different at this point. We're supposed to stay quiet. Oh, we really are? Ooh, okay. If I resisted, the Shinsengumi would suffer. But if Amagiri was telling the truth, then all I had to do was keep quiet and they'd be safe. Maybe Saito will come rescue us. Oh. We left the Nishi Hongwanji Temple and shot out into the back streets of Kyoto. Hongwanji Temple, yeah. He ran so fast I almost felt as if we were flying. His hold on me had never relaxed, but he was moving faster than I'd ever seen anyone go. Not only were demons strong, it seemed, they had other powers we'd yet to see. I shuddered. For now, it was probably best that I stayed quiet. I didn't know where he was taking me, but perhaps I could learn something about them if I did as he asked. My goal would be to gather information and then look for a chance to escape. I was trying to guess where he might be going when Amagiri suddenly stopped. What's wrong? I don't know what happened. I felt that if I kept running, my legs would be cut from my body. What? Before I had a chance to ponder what he'd meant, Amagiri called out to the darkness. Why don't you show yourself? After a moment, I saw a shape move in the shadows. It stepped forward into the light, revealing Saito. Ah! This is why we're going long on this progress. Oh my god, guys! Playing this game the first time around without a guide was such a bad idea because it's so much better. Although, I mean, okay, so doing this at least, going down his good path and finding the hidden stuff was amazing. Because we might have stayed quiet in another path, but now we're getting things that we may not have seen. Anyway, Saito? I don't believe it. So, again, I know this part's really long, but sorry. You guys don't care. You're like, it could be 2 fucking hours, and you'd be like, we don't give a shit. I know, but I haven't seen him once ever since he'd left the Shinsengumi. How strange that I should meet you here. Is this before or after we were sick? No, this is before we got sick. Because there's another choice later, like, sorry for making you worry, it's when we're sick. Will you let me pass? I'm in quite the hurry. Why are you with her? You've attacked Shinsengumi headquarters and have taken someone under their protection. I'm afraid I can't let you pass. He's expressionless as always, but his eyes seem like he showed signs of concern towards me, of course, because he's fucking in love with you. I wonder if I imagined it. He showed signs of concern. That's him being madly fucking in love with you. He's like a fucking brick wall. Why? I was led to believe you were no longer a part of the Shinsengumi. My relationship with the Shinsengumi is irrelevant. What is relevant is the girl. I somehow doubt she's accompanied you of her own free will. That is true! What's your intent? She's gonna be mine. Is it not clear? This. Woo! The final word became a sudden yell, and Saito launched himself toward Amagiri, his sword springing from its scabbard. Fight him for me, baby. The momentum of his charge drove the blade into a sideways slash, and I heard the hiss of a sword. I heard the hiss of a sword. I heard the hiss of a sword. You let Tim type this shit again, didn't you? Don't let Tim type when he's been drinking tequila, okay? Tim is a terrible typist on tequila. Especially when on tequila. Anyway, I heard the hiss of a sword pass inches from my ear. Ugh! Amagiri saw Saito's blade and dodged it. I could hear the wind from the blade pass my ears. Fast, I see. Shame you're only human. Listen, eyebrows. You intend to fight while holding her? I was under the impression you wished to take her alive. True. If Amagiri hadn't dodged that last strike, I would have been split neatly in two. Make your decision. Her death means nothing to me. Although it sounded cold, I could sense that he didn't truly mean it. Or we're hoping. I mean, obviously we know he's not, but... Because if he truly didn't care if I died or not, he wouldn't have needed to get in the way of Amagiri. Suddenly, the weight of Amagiri's grip was gone. Fine. I'll pretend your ruse has defeated me for tonight. Goodbye. And with that, Amagiri was gone, another shadow into a night full of them. You're unhurt. When he asked me, I finally got a grip of myself. Yes, I'm all right. Thank you, Saito. No need to thank me. I just happened to help you because I was passing by. But I love you. Would he have really killed me if Amagiri had refused to back down? It didn't seem very likely to me, but there was no way to know for sure without asking him. Then again, asking him wouldn't help either. I doubted he would give me a straight answer if I did. What are you laughing about? Oh, nothing. None of that, however, answered the question that had abruptly forced itself into my mind. What was Saito doing there, following you because he loves you? Are you... Perhaps this was more of a convenient imagination on my end. Going to come back to the Shinsengumi? Don't misunderstand. I was only passing through. Passing through. The back streets of Kyoto. in the middle of the night. The only place he could have been going was the temple. In any event, members of the guard are forbidden from fraternizing with the Shinsengumi. If we're seen, there'll be trouble. Go. But I'm not actually part of the Shinsengumi. The expression on Saito's face wasn't one I'd seen before. On another person, I might have called it surprise. That's an interesting view. Unfortunately, I doubt the commander will appreciate the nuisance. Oh, the nuance. Sorry, I can't read. Yes, he had a point. Hijikata would almost certainly take a much stricter view of the situation. What's the matter? Why are you laughing? Nothing. You just called Hijikata commander, Saito. It was a mistake. I mean, I did call him that for so long, because he's still your commander. Oh, guys! Hurry. You should return. If you stay too long, you could be attacked by a Ronin. But, Saito, if you refuse to leave, then I will. I can no longer sense the demon. You should be able to return safely. Oh, and he was gone. I know Saito was saying all that, but maybe his heart is still with the Shinsengumi. It's with you, girl. And with the Shinsengumi, but also you. Although Saito didn't specifically say so, for some reason I was sure of it. Yay! That was cute. I'm so glad we did this, guys. I know, we're like 10 minutes over time, but like, you know, we're going to finish this. No! This is when he comes for us. Guys, this is so... We decide to stay home. Did we do that in the last one? Oh, no, that's right. We did, because that's where Saito was. He's here still because he can't go out, so we decide to stay here, and then we help, and then we go talk to him. We have that little whatever, and then, yeah. So I think we've pretty much done all the options. Yes, because decide to stay home. Right. I want to help, so Hijikata gives us the message. We trust him that we are capable of delivering the message, and then we go to Saito and we stay and talk, and then we're on his path. So I think that's it. So I'm pretty sure we've gotten everything. I'll wait until we get to the last option in this chapter, and then we'll just wrap it up. So I'm not going to like continue and go through the ending, because we've already seen the good ending. We already know we got the good ending and everything like that. Nothing's going to change. So we say, I want to help. Yeah, so we've already done all this. Well, yeah, because the bad ending... No, we didn't... Huh. We trust him. Yes, and then we go to him and we talk to him. So yeah, we've already done all this. Yeah, we've already done... Oh. Didn't we do this? We already did this, so why is it acting like we didn't? We already stayed and talked to him in his path. I know we did, remember? Because I was like, I'm not going to leave. I'm going to stay and talk to him. Okay, so it just didn't register the choice. That's really weird. It didn't register the choice, but because I'm like, I know we did this. Okay. It just didn't show. That's weird. But anyway. So now I'm going to wrap this part up here. We've already gone down his path. We've already gotten his good ending and everything like that, so we don't need to worry about that. I just wanted to get that missing CG, so actually we could totally... Oh, poor baby, don't be bleeding like that. Anyway. Hold on. Before we end this part, what we're going to do is we're going to go... Let's go to the title. Yes. We don't need to worry about saving. It still saves it anyway. Gallery. Boop. And we're going to go. And now we've got our missing CG, guys. Oh. So like that, he's like barely a smirk, right? And then that one's like, oh my God, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. How do I... Hold on. There we go. There we go. We're going to end on this. So I am so glad we did this. That is gorgeous. It is fucking beautiful. I want that as my TV background. There are so many CGs in so many games. I need to just get them save them and like put them on my fucking Fire TV stick as the background thing so that like when it goes on sleep mode and it just starts playing screensavers, it's just all these. Or like save them on my computer as my backgrounds to just rotate out. Do it at work. People are like, what is that? None of your business. Look, don't ask. Like, anyway. So I'm going to wrap this part up here. I hope you enjoyed going through this. I actually, again, at first I thought after like 10 minutes I was like, this is a bad idea. We should not have done this because blah, blah, blah. But it was a good idea because there was at least a couple of scenes where we got the CG and even the one before where we wouldn't have spoken with Saito. We wouldn't have had those little moments with him because it was a direct choice to go, and that led us to that. It's not like some of the other ones where, okay, we would have still seen this scene in particular, or we would have technically seen these few things and read all this. We would never have gotten to this because we're not going to chase after the guard. I'm sure the only reason we'd be chasing after the guard is because of Saito and Heisuke, and we already went down Heisuke's path, so, you know. So that's why we did this. So I'm glad we did this. It was amazing. It was beautiful. And whew, we finally got our other CG. We probably would have done it at the end of the game, but it's better that we do it now. Probably should have done it before we did Heisuke's route, but, you know. I mean, I technically could put this up before that, but I'm not gonna, so I should have done it before I started Heisuke's route. I should have thought about it beforehand, but too late. And there's enough time warpy shit going on with me talking about things and being like, so in like 2 weeks you're going to see this video that I recorded before this, and then there's this, and then like, and it's confusing enough for everybody, including myself, so I'm not going to fry any brains. So anyway, now that this is like almost 20 minutes over, enjoy this as we end, and I will see you guys next time, and we'll be on somebody's path, and I have no idea who's yet, because I'm not sure if I'm going to have to pick someone, or if you guys are going to say anything. I don't know what's going to happen, so we'll see. I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.